everybody. How y'all doing? So, today you're just gonna hear my voice, at least for the Q&A, because I am tired, y'all. I'm resting. We're taking a break for spring break, and the kids are sleeping, and I just decided to do this now so that I can add it to the finale that we did about a week or two. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Okay, so I'm going to my app right now, and it will take you to this point. And if you click on the video portal, you should be able to get into the video platform, and there's a bunch of stuff here. You can come here and just look at some of the things that I have here. But what we're going to do is the chat forum. That's where we're going to click to enter. And I put all the episodes on there, so you can look through it, or you could just go on Spotify or Apple Music, wherever you listen to your podcast, and you might Apple Podcast, sorry, and you might be able to find us on there, or you just click on any one of these. So the latest up so far is episode 6, but this one that I'm recording now will be episode 7, and this will be the finale. Then you go to forum. You'll have to, if this is your first time, you might have to sign in. I tried to remove the sign in portion. I probably would remove it again, because at first I did, then I put it back, because I'm trying to protect my tribe. I have had quite a couple of negative people who are trying to discredit me to people I know. So I have been trying to protect people I know from certain wicked demons. Anyways, so if you notice, in my app, you would not see, except for the moderators, you see their names, but majority there'll be no names except my name. I try to keep everything anonymous, and because I developed the app myself, I can adjust whatever I need to adjust. So I'm going to go through some of these. I'm just going to scroll through them, answer them as quickly as I can, because the topic on how to bag the ring is kind of long, so I don't want to talk too much. But as you guys know, I don't talk until I'm led to, and when I'm done, I'm done. You'll see me on mute until summer. So this is the last one that we'll do until summer, but I will I'll put those public, the Easter drops that I did last year, because I'm not going to do any more Easter drops. These are enough Easter drops for this year. These are enough. Okay, so here is the latest message. I'll start with the latest and then go from there. This one says, hey, just checking in. So we usually check in those who are my people. And it says, I'm enjoying the new episodes. Thanks, Miss J. So usually they call me Miss J when I was when I was teaching, especially those that I met at the reading partners. I used to teach immigrants. I used to teach them English to help them pass their GED or their citizenship tests. And then also when I was helping out with the the rehabilitation center for mentally ill people, I used to help out there as well. They used to call me Miss J. So If you see them call, if you see anybody mention Miss J, that's me. They're talking about me. All right, so thank you, Miss J, for the books of the Bible for our kids. Yes, you can get it on Amazon, um and probably later on, when I have the time, I'll put up the Audible as well, because I know with kids I need to do the Audible. For my book, actually, JCP Testifies, I have tried about 6 times and failed to finish my Audible. Like each time, especially when I get to chapter 3, I can't go past chapter 3. I start crying. I go into a state that I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it by myself. I might have to use AI or somebody else. I had a friend of mine who, that's her job. She's a voice actor. um or someone I can get to do it, because I don't think I can go through the story again. And that's why I wasn't able to proofread that book. As soon as I finished writing it, I just published it, because I couldn't read it through. Like every time, especially when I get to chapter 2 and chapter 3, I'm bawling, y'all. I'm crying my eyes out. So I don't think I can finish it. But maybe it's therapy, so I might try it again. I always put it down for a while and get back to it. But if I'm able to finish it, I would upload those Audible. I'll put it up on Audible. Otherwise, I'll get someone else to do it, or AI, because I don't think I can go through all reliving all of those memories again. Anyway, it's part of my healing, so I thank God. Anyway, it says, way to go. I wanted you to touch on the struggles of being single in the church. Whew, that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. Probably when I'm talking about my love life, or if I'm doing any love stuff, I might touch on that. But yeah, I've been through being single. First of all, being single without a man when I was younger. Then I became coupled up with someone as a single. There are other challenges with that as well. Then after I got married, there are other challenges. And then my husband died. I became a widow. There are more challenges to that as well in the church. And then I got my, obviously I had my 2 kids with me. So that's new challenges, especially people who don't know you, or if you go to a new church, they always think you are this single mom that got knocked up by a drug addict or something. They always have their own. In Africa, the narrative is different. In Africa, they think a single mom is probably someone who is looking for a husband. So the minute they see you, it's like, hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your husband. It's like, don't come close to the pastor, don't come close, So they always think you're there to find a man. And then in the American culture, they always think you're poor, you don't have nothing, and so it's a lot when it comes to singles, especially single women. We are judged, it's a lot. But then when I got married for a second time, that was a whole new journey as well, navigating the church, especially being that this is your second time around, especially also because I was married to a Caucasian. It was an racial marriage, and the church we were attending was a predominantly Black church. Well, we were not really judged in the church, but he felt a little uncomfortable. That was his problem anyway. But anyway, for a while he used to love the church, and then later on he started like, there are too many Black people over there. I was like, well, that means you have to evangelize, get the white people to come to the church. So it was a whole thing. But anyway, yeah, being single in church is it can be tough. It can be, especially in a toxic environment, it can be really tough. Like for me, because of my past experiences being single in church, I don't go to a church where I don't become a member of a church where there's a single pastor, because I've always been linked with a, a man in the church. Any church I go to, I've always been linked. Either they think I'm dating the pastor, or I want the pastor, or and I like my peace. I really like my peace. So if there's a single pastor in any church, I would visit, or I would just watch from online, but I won't be a part. I won't be a member until the pastor gets married, and then I would go to the church. I should have put off my notifications, but anyway, so let me continue. So yeah, so that's that, but that's just me. Please, there's nothing wrong with having a single pastor, because I know single pastors have a bad rap. But there's nothing wrong with having a single pastor. But for me personally, I don't become a member of a church that has a single pastor because of my past experiences. There was a particular church I was a part of. There was a single pastor there. He just liked me as a friend. He helped me. At that time, I was a widow. I had 2 kids. And when my husband died, I cut my hair. So I was, I had some friends who did hair, so they dyed my hair. And quite frankly, back then I used to wear some dresses that would make me look like a baddie, but inside of me, I'm not a baddie. So when they saw me with that man of God, they always had something to say. And he was always around my kids, helping me, taking them to school and stuff like that. So that's why I tried to be very independent, because I didn't want to be dependent on him, because he was just helping out. And he got a bad rap, being close to me. And he had never, and I would say that to my dying day, that he never even told me he liked me or anything like that. We were just friends, and we knew each other back then in elementary school. So he was a friend of mine. But the way they turned the whole thing as if I'm the Jezebel. They started preaching Jezebel sermons, and he was the pastor. He's a doctor and a pastor. So I just, avoided the whole place, because for me, I just want my peace. I want, when I go to church, I go to serve the Lord, especially because I was singing in the choir. He was, I was leading praise. He was playing the keyboard and stuff. It was a whole thing. So for me, I always like to say, if the pastor is single, I'll just be visiting, or if I have to contribute in any way when I can, I do it, and I stay far away, very far away, because I just like my peace. But anyway, let's keep going. There's a lot to talk, so I might do a session on that, probably when I'm doing something about love and stuff like that. So remind me, guys. All right, let's keep going. So I have heard everything you're saying, but if someone was in a frat, okay, I think he's talking about fraternity. Yeah, I saw this. And it's saying he's no longer active. Is that a bad thing? Are we not holy enough? Are we not holy even though we love the Lord? Oh, please. One thing, if you really know me very well, I think I know who wrote this, but anyway, I'm trying to protect my people, so I'll just say in general, if you know me personally, you would know that I am not a judgmental person at all. Like, I just accept people for who they are, and most importantly, I can't be judgmental to anybody that has been in a fraternity, because my late husband was a member of Omega Sci-Fi. He was a Q Minor. My late dad, you all know, he was a Freemason of the highest order, 33rd degree, Grand Worshipful Master, whatever. So I know exactly where you're coming from, and I have lived with these people, loved these people till the day they died. So and both of them are no longer here, but I believe they're in heaven because they accepted Christ. They loved the Lord. My husband was on fire for God. Same thing for my dad later on when he accepted Christ. So I have no problem with you whatsoever. And I love you with the love of the Lord. And I'm praying for you because I know what it meant. The warfare we had to fight, the the nights and of tears, and it was a lot, I'm telling you. So I do understand, and I would never judge anybody who have been in a fraternity or anything, but I'll tell you the truth about it because that is the word of the Lord. All right, so the next one is, hey, woman of God, I think that's what it means, WOG. So are you going to start a ministry? I want to be your first member. No, as I said before, I am just a student of the word. I'm no pastor, I'm no prophetess, I'm nothing. I'm just so this podcast is coming from someone who just sits in the pew like every other member of the church, okay? And I do not have any desire to go into ministry. I'm already in ministry. This is my ministry, to encourage people, to love on people, to sing the words of Christ when I'm led to speak and teach things that I have learned through the years and learn from other people, and to just be the church and be his ambassador. I believe every Christian is an ambassador. So when I say I'm an ambassador, it doesn't mean I am knocking everybody else down. That's what all of us are supposed to be. It's not like I just want to pick up a title. No, we are all supposed to be ambassadors of Christ. So yeah. That's all I am. I'm not a prophet. I used to hate prophets. I used to hate prophets, but now I love them so much. I used to hate prophets. There was a particular prophet that prophesied over a relationship that I was in for a long time. We were together for a long time, and the person prophesied that I was going to break the person's heart, and I was going to, travel out of the country. Everything the person said actually happened, but I blamed that person because it really happened. Like, I to this day I kind of still blame that person, because after the person prophesied, our relationship just went down the drain. Like, everything I did, he saw it a different way. He was like, oh, prophetess said that. Remember, the prophetess said you would leave me, you will go study, and you forget about me, and you this that. So it was a whole lot. I wasn't able to deal with that, and I used to be so mad at that prophetess. So I used to hate prophets. Quite frankly, but now I love them so much. So yeah, and now I do get, but when I do get words of, it's just for me. As I always say, God always speaks to me for me, like warnings or in dreams or downloads, teachings. And it's not for me to be telling people, because I don't have that kind of gift. No. All right, let's go to the next one. Yay, I love today's episode. I was not at the live recording. Would love to learn more about the African culture. Thanks, Miss J. So did you have to eat from the hole? I hope not. I think somebody answered. Yeah, we didn't get to eat from the hole. No. We put the food in the hole for the ancestors, and we cover it in there. So we don't eat that food. No. We eat our own food. Our food is served separately. And the African culture, one day I'll try to do an series of episodes on that. So just to educate Americans, because you are my people now. I'm now officially one of you. So I have to try to explain the African culture to my American brothers and sisters, so you people would understand a little bit more, because some of you are really clueless. By the way, some of you speak about Africa, it shows how clueless you are. But it's okay. It's okay. We understand. All right. All right. I didn't know you have a wedding planning business too. Yes, I do. I have my business is a software solutions business. So we create solutions for different industries. So one of those industries is the wedding planning industry, and it's a big area. So we provide solutions in that area. And so yeah, we could talk. Whoever this is, you could just send me an email. I remember I spoke with someone last week. I don't know if that's you. All right. Oh, by the way, I saw the question about food in the hole. Oh, I know who, I'm sure this is Aisha. So I know Josette will handle later. Yeah, because we don't eat from the hole. No, that's left for the ancestors. Even the alcohol we pour on the ground is for the ancestors. The water we pour, the cola nuts, we don't eat it. We give it to the ancestors. All right, Miss J, hope you're okay after the tornadoes. Yeah, we had a lot of them here and in Texas too. Yeah, we're praying for you. I'm praying for you. Okay, another thing. Yeah, I did make the correction because I don't know what graph I was looking at or what map I was looking at that I said 47 days. No, it was for 40 years. It was 40 years. Of the 47 days was the Israelites just traveling across the Red Sea, but for 40 years they traveled from Egypt to the Promised Land. And then, yeah, she said, I forgot to talk about the apartheid. I did mention a few things about the apartheid in South Africa, and colonialism. I probably would have to, discuss it maybe some other time. But if you can, there's a lot of information about that, about Nelson Mandela. I know most people know about Nelson Mandela here. But yeah, that was it was terrible in South Africa. And then the colonialism was all over Africa, and we all have received our independence. So we fought for our independence, and we're now independent, even though we're technically still dependent on a lot of things from the Europeans, from Europe and from America. But slowly Africa is becoming fully independent. Yeah, so somebody said I mentioned it. Okay, another one was any words on the rapture and the book of Revelation. No, I have not fully understood the book of Revelation, or nor some deep things concerning that. So I would not be speaking on it until I'm fully knowledgeable. And so I don't like to talk anything that I don't know about. So yeah, but I do know that Jesus is coming back. I do know there'll be a rapture. I do know because it's written in the Bible. And I do know that there will be a great tribulation, and also there will be a day of judgment, which is very important, and the second death, in which the devil and his cohorts are going to be sent into the lake of fire. Oh, I look forward to that day. I look forward to that day. For all those who think, oh, you could just get away with anything you're doing, you will see on the last day. You will see. All right, I keep going. I have heard so many things. Yeah, I've heard so many things too, but I as I told you, I'm not knowledgeable of the book of Revelation. There's some, maybe I will add some, I'll tag some videos here that I've read or seen, but I'm not fully, fully educated in that area, so I can be, And again, as I told you, I'm a student of the word. I'm not a scholar, like official scholar. I haven't gone to school for it yet. Probably I will, I'm not sure, but I don't think I want to go into theology, because that will get my wheels spinning, and I know when I get too deep in something how I get. So I might just leave that alone. I just have to. But yeah, I'm not a theologian. I don't know about that. So hey, I'm just reading the Bible like any one of you and sharing what I've learned. Sis, you've been going hard on us these days. I can't wait to hear what you talk about the white man's religion. Yeah, I did speak about the white man's religion, which is the Greek religion, and the Greek gods, the Roman gods, the Cretan gods, Norse mythology, and all of that. Just a piece on the road. Yes, back-to-back episodes. I try. I always heard about the Christmas date was on a demonic holiday. Yeah, but for me, so you say holiday, so should we not celebrate? Yeah, we should celebrate, please. You see how I go all out for Christmas. I love Christmas. We should celebrate Christmas. For me, it's all about the intention. If you are intending to serve or worship Nimrod for Christmas, then that's your intention. For me, it's just a day that was set aside to celebrate Jesus. Obviously, he was not born on that day, but it was set aside to celebrate Jesus, and that's the thing I'm going to celebrate. So even Easter, we don't know whether that was the exact date, but we celebrate Easter when it comes. Okay. I was also curious, why was Judah the chosen tribe and not the eldest? I don't know, but it was prophesied by their father. So their father was the one that said Jesus will come from Judah's lineage. So he prophesied. You see the key thing about blessing your kids and prophesying, because you see when whatever Noah said to his kids, that's what they became. All right. Same thing for the 12 sons. Whatever their dad spoke to them, that was what Judah became. Even Benjamin, the Benjamites and all of that. So it was he that prophesied that Judah would be the one that through which the Messiah will come. So it was a prophecy, and that's why it's good to prophesy over your kids. Now, prophecy doesn't always have to be, you have to predict the future. You can speak, you can proclaim things to your kids or to your future. All right. So that was what happened, and that's how Judah was the chosen tribe, because he was prophesied by his dad. So you might need to ask Judah's dad, why did he prophesy only to Judah? Because Joseph was the favorite, but Jacob had to prophesy to Judah. So we don't know why, but Judah was the one that he prophesied about. So I was wondering, how did Nimrod exist in Babylon and was the son of Cush? So remember, they lived in Babylon area first before the tongues were, separated. Before they separated their tongue, God divided their tongues. So they already had established in Babylon, and that's where all this Tower of Babel thing even started. So Nimrod was already there, serving all these gods in Babylon and in the Babylonian they already had the Babylonian culture and everything before everything, everybody was divided. So yeah, you would hear about Nimrod in Babylon. You will also hear about Nimrod in Africa as the son of Cush. Because when they were separated, then they moved to Africa. So why were they moving so much in the early days? majority, from what we learned from school, people were moving for food. They were moving also in fear of, being hunted down by other people. Sometimes wars, sometimes the climate. Remember, they didn't have the ACs and heat that we have, electricity and all of that. So they didn't. Some of them, they were learning how to build houses to make it more habitable. So they were looking for better environments, better climatic conditions and things like that. So yeah, they were trying to figure their lives out. The world was new, and that's why America became the new world, because they moved from the old world to the new world. Just thought about that. And thanks, Miss J, for the latest episode. Was fire. Okay, thank you too. Curious to know more about what you think about whether Eden was in Africa. I don't know much about that. There's a thought out there that Eden was in Africa, and that's where the black thing came from. And so but when the Bible talks about Eden, after they were driven away from Eden, the Bible mentioned 4 different rivers that flows from Eden, and those rivers were not found in Africa. Tigris, the 4 of them, if where they all meet is not in Africa. From archaeologists, they found it in Iraq. So it's possible that Eden, the vicinity of Eden, must have been in the Middle East from archaeology. All right. But obviously we're not told in the Bible. So we'll just go with whatever we can. Or on the last day, get to heaven and you can ask. We can all ask when we get to heaven. All right, sorry I missed the recording today. I have a few questions. Who was Nimrod's god, if you can elaborate? Nimrod's gods were several gods. He was serving different types of gods. And he himself has become a god as well, the black god that they serve. Also, Tamar and Rahab were the 2 Canaanites in his lineage. Yes, thanks for the correction. Yes, Tamar and Rahab were Canaanites. And remember, Canaanites, they had the Amorites. They were divided into different, I think, Moabites and so on and so forth. So they were the 2 Canaanites in Jesus's lineage, and Canaan was from the black lineage. But again, as I told you, if you look at people in that area, they probably did not look as black as we think, And lastly, explain Hebrew blacks. I think I did a lot about Hebrew blacks, and I don't want to upset them. So, okay. And then I believe she addressed the Hebrew blacks. Yes, I did. Okay. Yeah. I will address the questions and add to the recording. Yes, that's what I said, and that's what I'm trying to do. Canaanites. I need more understanding of what happened to the Canaanites. I think I mentioned it when Rahab was the only one that was saved, she and her family. And so when it says Japheth will be in the tents of Shem, it was just like, the Romans that took over the Middle East, and they were in charge of the Israelites, sort of like oppressing the Israelites. So that's my interpretation of that. And hi, ma'am. This is David. Hey, David. I thought you were the one that asked that other question about the frats as well. But anyway, I was wondering, how can you then explain the fact that black people were living in Israel? Because we were moving, there were merchants. We had people who were merchants, who were blacks, who were traveling, who were moving around. They were explorers. So yeah, blacks were everywhere. Even we see that in the Bible when you come across an Egyptian, or you come across. So yeah, blacks were in in the Middle East. I don't dispute that. Blacks were there, but I'm saying Jesus did not hail from the black lineage. And that's what I was trying to prove, that Jesus, even though blacks were there, but his line, from his ancestry, they were not blacks. They were brown, if you can call it that, you know. All right. I have also opened the chat so anyone can share without signing. Yeah, that was the first time I opened it, but then there were some issues, so I tried to lock it up again. Because I'm constantly fighting to protect my tribe. Okay. And then yeah, so I published this when I published. Yeah, I saw the notification. So I think this was the start. Added to my Spotify. Yeah, so I think I've answered everything. I have added it here. And the Adam to Jesus thing is right at the top. So if you come to the top, you see the live session. Those of you who have you know ask for invitation. Then this is the dreams interpretation app, and then you have the vow song, my most recent song, and then you have Adam to Jesus. The genealogy is right up here, and the audio Bible. And if you need to request an invite, you can click on the request invite. So essentially that's all the questions I have. I hope I was able to finish it in record time. And then yes, we'll keep in touch. I'll be back in the summer, hopefully, and I hope to handle something about love and my love life, and give you some tea, because I do have a couple of past relationships, not much, because I'm a long-term kind of person. Like when I do my relationship, like if I'm in a serious relationship, I spend sometimes 6 years. I think I've been in a relationship for 6-7 years in just one relationship. So that's why I don't have much, even though I'm over 40 years old. But yeah, but I'll talk about some of them because I've learned a whole lot, and also because I don't date typically. I kind of just court. We're either friends, and if we're like together, I just consider it like we are together now, like we're courting, so I have to first of all be your friend and like you as a person. And so I don't typically date, I just court. I think that's what the word is, courting. I do courting more because as a Christian, that's what I believe in. But that's a whole debate. So yeah, I might talk about some of those things and get you all mushy when I talk about love. But hey, these are my songs. Go look for my songs. Add me. I got a couple of them, couple of albums, couple of EPs, and then the episodes for the podcast Goddess Rants. I'll leave it open, so it will be open so you can go to Spotify and all the rest and look it up, or you just go to my YouTube channel. I love you all. Now it's time for How to Bag the Ring. Bye. There is a time for everything under the sun. There is a season for every purpose to be born. A time to live and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to harvest. A time to kill and a time to heal. Make every minute count. Make every minute count. How are we doing? How are we? How are we? How are we? How are we? Okay, so let's get into it. Hello everybody. Today I'm multitasking today. I'm doing a lot of stuff, so bear with me. But I'm glad that we all made it to this last session. This will be our finale. I will do some Q&A and put it and add it to this episode when I have the time, when I'm editing. And so we want to, first of all, thank God that we went through the racism and slavery episodes. I would do sort of like a summary of everything when I'm doing the Q&A. So please keep your comments, your questions, everything coming so that I can at least do a synopsis of everything that we talked about. Okay, so today I want to focus on what we're talking about, relationships and how to bag the ring. So the first thing that I want to say, for all of this to work, there has to be some foundation. Like there has to be some things that is like the foundation before any of what I say would make sense. Because if I keep talking, it will not make sense to you at all. It won't make sense to you. So the first foundation is with all of my relationships that did end up in a ring. I told you that is something, if I'm good at anything, that's something I'm good at. Okay. I've been in 5 solid serious relationships, and all 5 of them have given me a ring. All right, now I'm not a saint, far from it, but those 5 relationships, each of them saw something in me that made me get a ring. And 2 of them, I ended up marrying 2 of them. You all know my late husband and the father of my kids. And then obviously my second husband, who is now my ex, my love, who's now my ex. And then I had 2 other relationships that were solid ones. They were both men of God. They loved the Lord. They're brothers. They're my brothers in Christ. I don't know where they are right now at all. I don't even know where they are right now. But one of them is supposed to be in Canada. I don't know if he's still there. The other one is supposed to be in Africa. All right. Both of them also gave me a ring. And then there was one other relationship that I was in that I'm not going to talk about, but he gave me a ring as well. With him, he will always have a special place in my heart, and I know I have a special place in his heart too. But in all of those relationships, there were some key constant things that were like the foundation, the basis. And don't think I'm going to spill a lot of tea here about my love life. If you want to know about my love life, you read my book, and there'll be a second book coming out. Okay. I'm a little bloated today. I ate stuff. Anyway, so I'll be, releasing another book that will talk more about my love life, because I know I have a lot to share in that area. Anyway, so when it came to those relationships, there were some constant things that made the ring show up. All right. And so this is not any way of bashing anybody, especially those of you who are not Christians who are listening to this, or who are just getting to the point of becoming Christians. So this is not to bash anybody, but for me, I always believe in equally yoked. To be equally yoked, that's what the Bible says. So if I have the time when I'm editing, I'll put up some scriptures. But being equally yoked simply means we're on the same page, all right? So for this to work, both of you have to be on the same page. If you're believers, both of you have to be believers for this to work. If you're unbelievers, both of you have to be unbelievers. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some people who have married someone who is not a believer when they are believers. There are some people who have, everybody's case is different, but I am just using my life as an example of what really worked for me, because for someone to be as old as I am, above 40, and I've had 5 different men give me a ring, it shows that I was doing something consistently right in all those 5 relationships. And so one of it I know is was we were on the same page in terms of our faith. Okay, my first husband, obviously he was a young Christian. He had just accepted Christ when we met, and that was even the basis that we started the relationship on. When we were just friends, he was always asking about Christianity, always curious, because he was coming from a Muslim background. His sister was also just accepting Christ and coming into the faith, so he was very curious, and we had a lot of debates. Some of these things that I'm talking about right now, we used to talk about them. Like, he would ask me hard questions, and it's not any way of he was just that kind of person. Like, he would ask questions that most people would be shy or scared to ask because it's Bible, but he would like genuinely want to know, and that helped even our relationship to grow. So he asked all kinds of questions in the Bible, and so that was the basis of our relationship from day one. All right, my second husband too, he knew the Lord before we met. When we met, he was in a different place, but he resubmitted his life to Christ during an altar call that I was there, and he got he re-established in his relationship with God, and he submitted his life back to God, and he was working entirely on his faith. We would fast together, we would pray together, everything, and that was the beginning of our friendship that turned into relationship or marriage. Same thing for the other 2 guys, the one in Canada, the one in Africa. Both of them are brothers in Christ. They have been in Christ for a long time. They are seasoned brothers. Like the one in Africa, he ended up being a pastor or something. He was doing too much though. He was doing a lot just to impress me or what. But he had always been a Christian. In fact, he was the one that led me to Christ and brought me to Christ when I was young. So at first we were like sister and brother. I didn't know his intentions until much later on, when I started seeing that he was upset with me trying to date somebody else, and that's when he made his intentions right. So anyway, so that was our own basis. Like, we started off praying. He was always introducing me to Christ, taking me to church, so that was the basis of our relationship. Even with the second guy, we were friends at first, became more than friends. He was an artist, singer. He played all instruments, and so we bonded over that. Music. My passion is music, and obviously he knew the Lord. He loved the Lord, And then the other person was a Catholic, a devout Catholic. Again, as I told you, I'm not going to say much about him. But all of those relationships were relationships that was built on Christ and our relationship with God, our faith in God. And so that's the foundation of what I'm talking about. Now, for you who have a different experience, or you are not like a believer, that's not your vibe, this, what I'm about to say, or some of what I'm going to say, will not work for you, because you are mostly going to be in a relationship where probably you are having sex, or probably that's the basis of what you started off the relationship in, or probably things like if I talk about celibacy or whatever, it would not work for you. Your partner will never understand that, and that will just crumble the relationship. Like, it won't, you will never get a ring out of that. Okay, so yeah, that's the first thing. We were on the same page. So in order for this to work, you have to be on the same page. Whether you're unbeliever, be unbeliever. All right, unbeliever to unbeliever. All right, if you're a believer to believer. And even when the Bible talks about equally yoked, for me, I always take it that you have to be of the same faith level. Okay, in as much as my late husband was like a fresh convert, but his level of faith was high, considering some of the things that he had to go through to stand up for his faith, even in a family that is predominantly Muslim. And there's a lot of other things. So yeah, your level of faith should be on the same frequency, or else you won't be aligned in a lot of stuff. The second thing, that's a foundation also, is that the person should like you, at least as a person. All right, you should start off the relationship at least as friends. You should like each other as friends. Okay, I told you with my first husband, it's also in my book, he saw me as a mini him. Even when we were working together, like I was supposed to not replace, but learn from him. He was the chief automation engineer back then. So I was a trainee engineer learning from him. And he taught me a lot of things. He taught me controls. He made me pass controls for my final year. Because he taught me controls like it was a storybook, like he was explaining a story to me. And that was what helped me to pass my controls exam. So he taught me the engineering side, I taught him the Bible. And that was our relationship. But at first it was just friendship until he left. When he left, I had to call him because things started going wrong at work and I needed his help, and I would call him. At first I wasn't able to get him because he was going through a situation. I wrote it in my book, and so I had to go look for him. I had to literally go to his house, and that was when I found him in a totally, he was down. He was totally down. And that's another thing, another foundation is, if you people go through stuff together, if you have gone through stuff together, there's a high chance that you will get the ring. Now, if you are in a relationship where the man has everything, he has attained everything without you, like you both have not gone through no tears together, no hardship together, there's no real story behind your love relationship, there's a high chance that it will take longer for that man to trust you enough to give you that ring, or probably you will never get the ring because there is no tangible thing that you people walked through or endured together as a couple, but for me, that was how we started. We went through a lot of tears. He was going through a lot at that time, and I helped him go through those things. I've always been that kind of person with my relationships. Even the one that I wanted to say I wasn't going to talk about, he went through prostate cancer, and he came out of it. He got healed, and that was the first time in my life that I prayed for someone with cancer and God healed him. I prayed for 2 other people with cancer, God healed them. So that was why when my aunt died, I was really, it really took a toll on me, because I have prayed for people with cancer before and they got healed. So I was thinking, God will do it, but sometimes God in his sovereign will knows what he's doing, and we don't question him. And we just let his will be done. There are times he will do it, there are times he will not, and we have to be okay with that. So with my aunt, she died. But with this person, he went through the prostate cancer, so if you have some history with that person, there's a high tendency that you would definitely get the ring. Like, it is just automatic. All right, so you have to go through something with a person, but it doesn't have to take 10 years, 9 years, 15 years. If you're old, like 30 years old, or even late 20s, 30s, you're in your 30s, you're in your late 20s as a lady, and you have someone who is like your age group, or a little older than you, or way older than you, there is no reason why you should be dating for more than 15 years, 9 years, 7 years, and the person have not even discussed marriage with you. There's something wrong. There's something definitely wrong with that. So for me, all of my relationships, I got the ring in the first 6 months. All of them. First 6. I think the latest was like 2 years or 1 year ish. That I, but all of them gave me a ring earlier on in our relationship. I got married to my first husband in less than 1 year that we actually started a relationship. In less than 1 year, we got married. We were friends before, though, just getting to know each other, especially because he was going through this situation with his ex. I told him, you have to sort that out. I can't be in this drama. It was a whole lot of drama with fighting and abuses and everything. I can't be in that drama with you, so you got to sort yourself out. When you're done, I'll be right here. I'm very patient. Another thing, again, as a woman, you have to be patient, and you have to be very what can I say, understanding of certain situations. Don't be too hasty, because sometimes God is trying to protect you. So don't be too hasty. And sometimes God is trying to build the virtue of patience in you. And if there's drama, you don't want to be a part of it. Baby mama drama, ex drama, mother, sister, anti-church drama. No, you don't want to be a part of that. If there's too much drama, just stay out of it and tell the man, hey, when you're done, I'll be right here. Now, if you don't meet me when you get back, it's probably someone else has snatched me, because you have to make it known to him that you are not just there on the shelf waiting. All right, there might be an opportunity where somebody else might come and snatch you, so you're not just waiting forever. Like, if you don't have anybody, well, you'll be right there, you wait. So patience is golden. All right, those that wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. So it's good to wait, but at the same time, let him know that you will not wait forever. All right, because you're young, you're pretty, you're good looking, you have all the qualities that he saw that somebody else might see too. All right. Also, don't search for a man. Don't look for a man. That's the last foundation I want to put. If you were the one that sought him out, that found him, or that ran or put pressure on him to date you or to fall in love with you, there's a high tendency that you wait longer for the ring, or you might probably not even get the ring. Okay, so it's always good to be sought out. Let the man seek you. Let him find you. The Bible says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from God. So when he obtains favor, that means you are the prize. You are the favor. When he finds you, he gets favor from God. So you are the prize. You should not be running after a man. Now, don't get me wrong. You can let him know what you're working with, all right? But don't pressure him, because every man is born a hunter. That's in them. They want to hunt, they want to search. It's an instinct of every man. That's what God puts in them, because he gave them the ability to find a wife. All right, he gave them the ability to find. And so every man has that thing in them to seek to find a wife. And so you are the trophy, you are the prize. So relax. Don't be looking for a man. Don't be hustling out there, searching and pushing yourself, sliding in DMs. No. If you can, make a comment, or you can like, or you can, but to be all on him, and no, that's not. A man has to find you, and that's the only way. I will always say it will be automatic for you to get a ring, because he is the one that sought you out. He wants you. He is looking for you. He really wants you. He chooses you. All right, you want the man to choose you. And when that foundation is laid, both of you are on the same page. All right, you're the same believer. And for me, I go even deeper than that in what we believe, because it's not just being a believer or just coming to church, but what do you believe? What are your characters and all of that? I go deep. I go deep, because my relationships, it's not just about me, especially now that I have kids. It's about me, my kids, my future, my career, my faith. So there's a lot that go. Now, don't get me wrong. There are relationships I've entered into. I don't call them relationships. I would just say I just wanted to have a friend or a companion, or just someone to talk to. But someone that I really am intending to marry and settle down with, I take my time. I want to make sure this is the right person for me. And so when all those dots are crossed, it's just easy. It's you will just sit down and he comes with a ring. It's just easy. So the first thing that you need to do to get the ring, after all those foundation is laid, you're both on the same page. He likes you, he sought you out, all right? And you've been through stuff. You've gone through stuff. So those of you who have been in a relationship maybe a year or two, you have been through things. He has shared his deepest secrets with you. In fact, that is a recipe for a ring. As soon as a man feels comfortable enough to share his secrets with you, to tell you, everything about himself, especially the one I always say I don't want to talk about him, but I end up telling you about him. But he shared his whole life with me. I knew every single thing about him. And so even with my late husband, that was why when he died of heart disease, I was shocked, because I thought I knew everything about him. If he was going through something, I should have known. He should have told me. Which was why I probably had too many emotions going on, including anger. Why didn't he tell me? If he was going through something that was really hard, that he couldn't take anymore, why didn't he tell me? Because we shared everything. We talked about every single thing, so anyway, it's life. It's life. But yeah, in all of my relationships, I go very in depth. We talk about everything, my second husband. That was why I stayed that long, because I knew what he was going through. He told me. So it wasn't like he didn't tell me, but it became too much. Like, sometimes you can't save someone. Like, I was thinking I could save him because I knew what was the demons he was fighting. I knew, and we were praying about it together. So I was hoping I could save him, from the alcohol addiction. And when he gets down and into that dark space, I was always thinking I could save him. But you can't save a man. I got to realize that. So that's another thing for you. If you think you can save someone, that's a slippery slope. I know we love so hard, especially those of us who love hard. Like, I love hard. So sometimes you would think you can save someone, but you can't. You can't save a man. So I learned that the hard way, though, with my second husband. So but be able to talk with someone, and that's the basis of memories that will linger on. So even when that man wants to dump you for any reason, or he sees another woman that's more attractive or whatever, he thinks or remembers those memories that you've shared together, that unique bond, that connection that you have for each other. And that is what keeps him in the relationship. And that's why I always say I don't know, but all the relationships, the solid ones that I've been in, I've never been cheated on, because there is that bond that we develop that is so strong that if there's anything, I would know. And then just so the first thing, when all of that is laid down or laid out, the foundation, the first thing you need to do is pray. For me, I always prayed even before the relationship, but also pray when you're in the relationship. But for my first husband, I prayed for him before I even met him. I prayed for him when I was in college with the ladies I wrote in my book about, that we were praying midnight prayers. I laid it all down on a piece of paper. Every single thing I put down. Every single thing I put down. That man was everything. My first husband was all of them. I put even his career, that I want him to be an engineer. He was an engineer. I said I wanted him to be older than me. He was about 7 years older than me. I wanted him to be short. Well, not too short, but just like my height. I had all those crazy things. Because I had dated someone who was taller. Because tall is actually my type. But I had that thing about, because he was taller, I was always thinking I'm too short for him. So when I was putting down what I want in a husband now, I said I don't want a tall man anymore, because I was always hoping to get a tall man, because tall man was my ideal man. So I said, no, I want a shorter man, but not shorter than me, because I'm short. So he was like just above me. He was like, I think 5'8" or something. I love that about him. It's every single thing I wanted. Even we looked alike. People who knew us, they were like, both of you just look like brother and sister, That's why he used to call me Pekin. Pekin in Creole means child. He used to call me his child. And then we became more than that. I also put so many things that I wanted him to be. We didn't even know that we went to the same school when we were younger. It was later on that we started talking about our teachers, and then I realized we were actually going to the same school when we were younger, and so many other things. I wouldn't say everything in detail, but every single thing I put on that paper, God answered all of it, every single one of it. And that's why sometimes I jokingly say, even though I'm not even joking, I was serious, like I needed to put I don't want him to live a short life. I want him to live a long life. I should have put that there. Maybe God would have answered that one too. But yeah, so I laid it all down. And even after when I was a widow, I was going to this African church in North Carolina. And in the African culture, when you're not married, everybody is, on you. Like, you need to get somebody, you need to marry somebody. And they were bringing people they know, some Sierra Leonean that they know, they will bring him. I'm like, it's not. I'm not looking for some. For me, it's not about nationality, or no, you could be any nationality as long as we vibe, as long as you love me, I love you. There's something about connection for me. It's not, I don't care about your skin color or whatever. So with that, I started writing to God. I prayed and I wrote down all the things that I wanted, and I was like, God, I just want someone who would just adore me and literally like just love me way much more than I love him. Because with my first husband, sometimes I used to feel like I love him more than he loves me. I don't know what was in my head, but I was thinking like my love for him, even though obviously he loved me, he would post it on Facebook and say I love my wife, but like in my head I was like, I think I would handle a relationship more if the person is like loving me more. Probably it will be a lot better, because I was going through a lot of struggles after my husband died. Like, I was like, if I didn't love him as much, maybe I wouldn't be suffering as much as I'm suffering right now. So in my head, I was like, I just want someone who would love me more than I love him, and who would just adore me, and who maybe I don't even need to work, who would just want me to just stay home. Indeed, I got the guy who said, I don't want you to work. I just want you to stay home. And then when I got into that marriage now, I'm like, no, I want to work. I don't want to be just at home. And so sometimes when you ask God, be careful what you ask for, because God will give you. And I was now sneaking out of the house to go find a job and to go work, because I really needed to work. And so our relationship was, he loved me way, like right now, if I call him right now, he would leave everything, come get me. That we're like that. And so for me, that was very toxic for me, because even though he loves me and everything, but when he gets into his dark states, whew, and that's not good. Especially if it was just me, maybe, I don't know, maybe I would have, I don't know, I don't think I would have, but who knows. But now I have kids and I have to think about, being in a toxic relationship with kids. That's not good. But in terms of love, and he was in love with me. And so yeah, everything you ask God for, God will give you. As long as you're sincere, he will give you the desires of your heart. And if you delight yourself in him, if you continue to work for him. At that time, I was serving him like a crazy woman. I was the choir. I was in the choir. I was leading praise. I was in the evangelism, prayer, Sunday school. Anything they say, do you want to be a part of it? Yes. Are you doing this? Yes. I was always doing all kinds of things for God. Like, if a man opened a whole ministry and asked me, do you want to come help to background sing, to do whatever? I would say yes. I was doing all kinds of things, even as a widow, and I had to go to work and I had to study, and I was doing all. So when you delight yourself in God and you ask him for anything, that time when I asked him, God just gave it to me. To a point that I was now thinking, oh no, I don't want all of this. Like, sometimes he would overlove me. Sometimes I'll be like, I just want my space. I just want to rest. God can do beyond what you think or imagine, you know. And so that was why even when people were saying, oh, he's this or is that, I wasn't seeing any of that, because everything I asked God for, I listed it, you know, and God answered. I didn't ask him for a Caucasian though. I didn't ask him for a Caucasian, but God gave me a Caucasian guy, and he was sweet at the start. And that's why when people are saying, "Oh, didn't you see any red flags?" No, I didn't. I didn't see no red flags. Like, he was just so sweet at the start of the relationship, even when we got married, when he proposed, when we got to, everything was just like a fairy tale. It was just, sometimes it was too good. Maybe that is a red flag, too good to be true. You know, he loved everything I loved, you know, travel, and, you know, even my food. He loved my Maggie and my African food and everything. So it was too good to be true, to be honest about it. But then he had the dark side of him, that sometimes he gets too depressed and too, like, 1 minute he's happy, and the next minute this demon comes inside of him. But anyway, so those were the things, like, pray about it, list everything, your list, don't throw it away, put it down. Even to the silliest thing, I told you, when I was a little girl in college, I put all those things, and God listened. Even to his height, God listened. So what else would God not listen to, you know? And you know, that is the first thing. Pray and ask God, and God will grant you. And you know, even if you are already in a relationship, when you pray, don't be praying for that particular person, because sometimes God is doing something that he doesn't even want you to be in that particular relationship. So don't pray that, oh God, I want to marry this particular person. No, pray with an open head, or open heart, and give him the desires of your heart. Tell him. And sometimes, if that is the person that God wants you to be with, even if they don't meet those criteria, God will walk on them. I've seen him walk on someone to make him become what you listed on that list. That person will eventually just become the person you always wanted, you know. I remember when I was in a relationship with someone who also gave me a ring. I wanted him to be, you know, a man of God. He eventually became a pastor. You know, so there are some things, when you pray, you really pray, God will answer it. God will really make it happen. But don't pray for a particular person. Don't have your eyes on any particular, because those prayers are just, you're just praying out of lust. Pray with an open mind, and pray that God will give you whoever his desire for you is. And these are the desires of your heart, because the Bible says he'll give me the desires of my heart. So lay down the desires of your heart and tell God. And I always say, write it down, because the devil can't read. The devil can't read. Honestly, he can't read. If he wants to destroy anything, you have to read it for him, because he can't read. So write it down, lift it up to God, and pray about it. So that's the first thing. The second thing, and both of my husbands, I wrote that prayer, I wrote all those things way long before I met them. I met my first husband on my final year in college. I did that letter in my first year in college. For my second husband, I wrote that thing when I was at that African church. That was like 5 years before I met my second husband. So write it down, pray about it, just leave it to God. When it's time, it will come to pass. Don't start giving God time and say, oh, it's 1 year now, God, what is happening? It's 2 years now, what is happening? No. Sometimes you just need to relax. You don't need to always be in a relationship. That's why in recent times, when my kids were saying, oh, you need to have a boyfriend, they even put me on a dating site. Can you imagine? My kids were Googling A rich husband that my mom can date. Like these kids. Christian husband that my mom can date. You know when it's bad, when your kids start looking for a man for you. I'm like, come on now. And then I just realized this is like one of the few times in my life when I've been without no man at all, like not even dating or not even looking at anybody looking at me or anybody looking at I'm just not in anything whatsoever with nobody whatsoever. And I'm perfectly fine with it. Sometimes just be okay, because God is working on you on a different level, So that's the first thing. Pray and allow God to do his will on you. And then another thing, which is the second thing that I like to, tell people who want to have a ring, is when you're in a relationship, be in a relationship with someone that you can feel comfortable with. All right. And that's the relationship that will blossom into you getting a ring. Now, if you are in a relationship where you don't feel comfortable with that person, or that person, you're not in your comfort zone with that person, there's a high tendency that you will not get a ring with that kind of person. Like, for me, all of those relationships that gave me those rings, all of them, I can be with them without my wig on, with my natural hair, with my natural skin, no makeup. In fact, first of all, my second husband, that was his favorite. Like when I'm just in my natural state, maybe just wearing his t-shirts or something and no makeup on, the way he would hug me and like, girl, you're pretty, girl, you're this. That's why when the demons used to come on him and he used to call me fat and whatever and ugly, in my head I was like, where's my husband, because this is not him. Because he would always compliment me, he would always, and that's why as a woman, get my products, the skincare products and the hair products. I'll put them on the on the video so you can see. Get those products so that your natural skin glows, your natural hair is shiny, is even if you're natural like me, you can have your hair done naturally that looks really good and looks healthy, and just being your natural self. Let him just fall in love with your natural self. Don't get me wrong, sometimes you got to switch it up. You got to switch. Even during COVID, if I was going to the store, I would switch it up. I would dress up. It was like, where are you going? To the store? Yeah, I'm going to the store. So you don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. So yeah, even as much as my first husband, he loved when I did braids. So back then I used to do a lot of braids, cornrows. Yes, that was his favorite. But my second husband, he loved my natural, or I'll do my dreads or something. He liked the wigs, but many times he would just prefer me just being my natural self. And then you need to know what your partner likes, okay? But feel comfortable, because you're going to spend the rest of your life with this person. And even for men, the person that they feel most comfortable with is the person they'll put a ring on. If you are just always with him, you're this baddie, you have the baddie look, all he wants to do with you is have sex, go to the club, showcase you to his friends, and that's all. And many times bodies don't get the ring. That's why you wonder, why is this girl she's beautiful, she has BBL, she has all the things, but she doesn't have a man. Because many men are looking for a woman they feel comfortable with. They can just let loose, and the lady also can just be themselves. And many men are like that. Like, they just want to be comfortable with a woman. They just want to be comfortable. So be that woman that makes a man feel comfortable, and you can just let loose, let your hair down, be in a t-shirt or in some kind of sweats or something, and just be normal, and let him know your true self. That's the kind of person that will marry you. Someone who knows you with all your flaws, but he still adores you. Like the tall guy that I used to date that gave me a ring. He's probably in Canada right now or wherever, I don't know. But he always used to like adore the way I look, like because I was short, and he would call me short, short, like even with your flaws, the person that really just adores you for who you are, even with your flaws and all, for some things that you will feel ashamed about, but to him it's adorable, it's cute, you know. Um, Try to improve yourself though. Try to, obviously my height, I can't improve my height, but like some things that are a little bit embarrassing, you could try to, um, for yourself, for you to have more confidence in yourself, try to improve on it and try to make it better. But don't try to over um, or even hide who you truly are, because when he gets to find out, it's a betrayal. you know for example, if your hair is short and you are always wearing a wig, when he finds out your hair is short, it's not flattering. But just be your authentic self. Let him know you, the true you, and let him fall in love with that person, with the true you, because that's the only way you guys can go further in the relationship. And so be yourself. The first thing, pray. All right. The second thing, be yourself. The third thing, don't pressure the guy. Don't pressure the guy. I was watching this series. My daughter put me onto it. Because I'm always looking for something to take my mind off sometimes. And she was like, Mama, I know you like this. And that was a show called Ultimatum. I used to get so upset with the Ultimatum, but I'll still watch it. And I noticed that women who do that, most times they give a guy an ultimatum. It works for some people. For some people, it doesn't work. For me, I always say an ultimatum is not the way to go. Like, if you have to force a man to see your worth, he is not worthy of you. No, you don't deserve that kind of relationship. I'd rather be single than to force a man to give me a ring. No. Walk away. Walk away. Now, if he really loves you, he'll run after you. All right. But don't hold on and try to say, oh, if you don't marry me, don't belittle yourself like that. You're belittling yourself. You're worthy more than that. Don't be trying so hard to push a man to marry you. No. If you've been in a relationship more than 3 years and you're old enough, like me, you're above 40, come on now. You don't need to waste your time in that kind of relationship. Just walk away. Walk away, go find somebody else, or just relax. Just relax. Don't be stressing over a man. And let him choose you. Let him pursue you. All right? That is the man's instinct that God himself put inside of him. Every man has that thing inside of him to pursue a woman. So if he's not pursuing you, that means you're not the one. He doesn't want you. So just accept it and move on. Just accept it and just find your own. You will always get your own. And if you don't get any man, that's maybe God's will for you. Pursue career, pursue something else, pursue a hobby. That would even make more money for you. So in as much as I know sometimes we really want a guy, but if a guy don't want you, don't stress about it. Just don't. I'm multitasking here, so yeah, just don't. All right, the third thing. So I said, be yourself. First, pray. Then second, be yourself. Third, don't give him an ultimatum. And then let him choose you. And then the fourth thing is to reveal yourself to him, all the parts of you. all right? Because every woman has different parts of you're not just one aspect. So reveal yourself to him, and don't do too much. I see a lot of women, like, you give him all the privileges of a husband, and so there's not much more left. And that's why a man will be dragging his feet, because you cook for him, you clean, you do everything that a wife does, you give him sex, whatever. And so what else is left? There's nothing left. Like, the guy doesn't really, but you could show him that I have the capacity to cook, I have the capacity to clean. All right, some days, like my second husband, I used to go to his house, because he would leave his house. He lived in the country. His house is literally open. Like, he doesn't even need to close the door. So when he's at work, I will go set up his house, clean up, do his laundry, if I can make some food for him, and then just leave it for him in the house once in a while, when I feel like he deserves it. So, but not every time, not all the time, but his house is literally open. In the country, nobody closed the door. That area was predominantly white. Everybody's white over there. In fact, it was just me and my kid. Like, when we got married, it was just me and my kids that were black in that area. We were the only black people in in the country area where he lived. So I would go there. The people knew me. I'll pack his house, I clean up his house and everything, and just wait for him, or maybe just go and I'll text him, I just cleaned up for you because you deserve it today. And so you could do that maybe once in a while. Let him know what he would get as when you become a wife eventually, but not every day. Don't be all the time cooking all the time, because now he will take you for granted and he will start dragging his feet, because he's getting all the privileges, he's getting the sex, he's getting the money, whatever you're doing for him, he's getting it. So he don't need you. All right, so you gotta be a little, give him a little, keep a little. All right, and if you are a Christian like me, celibacy is the way to go. Celibacy is the way to go. Now, don't get me wrong, there are times the hormones, or I don't know. The Bible says don't awaken love. Sometimes the hormones might get the best of you, but at least 3 months, the first 3 months, don't be giving a guy sex. Because as soon as that is done, there's nothing more to pursue. He can't pursue you anymore. Remember, I told you that thing is in him to pursue you. So give him 3 months. Just wait and see, what kind of person is this? Do I even like him? Do I even want to settle with him? Do I even want him? Or does he even like me? Or is he just with me because he saw the BBL and he wants to have sex, and that's it. So make sure that 90 days, I call it probation. he goes through that probation. All right, he has to go through the 90 days probation. Every job does a 90-day probation. Okay, and so if you want the job of a husband, you need to go through the 90 days probation. All right, and then if you are a single mother, because I know I have some of you here who are single mothers, and those who listen to me, some of you followed me because I'm a single mom. So if you're a single mother, don't introduce every guy that you meet to your kids. You don't want them to be confused, especially when they're younger. When I was dating, when I was younger, I don't even say date, because I don't usually date. That's my thing. As a Christian, I don't date. I court. And so it's a long-term relationship. And so before I court you, I have to observe you. I call it an observation phase. So sometimes it's just an observation. You feel like feeding me during your observation phase, fine. Let's go for dinner, let's go for lunch, but you're still on probation. So don't show your kids every guy. Sometimes even my address, a lot of guys I date with, I don't let them know where I live. Until I can trust you. And again, 90 days. 90 days. And then when I start trusting you, I start bringing you closer to my kids, because I need to know if they like you and if you like them. How do you treat them? Because it's all about, we're going to be a family. I need to see how you interact with my kids. And so for single moms, that is very essential. Don't expose your children to every guy. We have all these crazy guys out here. You have people who are pedophiles roaming the streets. You have sex offenders. No. They're not coming around my kid, all right? And then those of you I have your links to, I will send you something I do. It's called a background check. I didn't do it when I was in Africa, but here you got to do a background check. And even if you're in Africa right now, because the world is becoming crazy, you need to do a background check. So I'll send it to some of you that have your emails. Do a background check of a guy. Check all the court records. Check all the everything. Every single thing. Try to know, and then try to also know members of their family and see how they interact with their family. That's something I do too. I just see, what is his relationship with his mom, especially his mom. What is his relationship with his sisters? Or how does he react or relate with people around him? Just try to understand him a little better, because someone that you're going all crazy for, by the time you really know who he is, you don't want him around you. You don't want him around your kids. You don't want him around anything. Anything. So make sure that you are very consistent when you meet someone. Make sure you do the background check. Don't tell him, just do a background check and ask pertinent questions. Know the deepest secrets. Ask him pertinent questions to your relationship. Things like, instead of you just talking rubbish or engaging in sex, talk about the future. Does he ever come up with anything about the future with you? Does he, when he's talking, like in general, does he ever talk about the two of you in his distant future? Or is it just him? Is he just thinking about himself? Or and that's how you would know. All right, now if all else fail, because we're coming close to 1 hour and I wanted to keep it short, but if all else fail, and then you are in this relationship, you've been there 3 years, all right, I would say even 2, for those of you who are my age, like 40, we don't have time to waste, all right? But if you are in your 30s, all right, or 20s, give him 3 years. If you're in your 20s, maybe 4 years, because a lot of men like to be financially stable. But if you are already 40, first of all, the guy has to be, if you're dating and you don't have money, you're not supposed to be dating as a guy. You need to go find money somewhere. go Even now the stock market is even dead. Go do some insurance or something. Go sell something, but don't be out here with no money and you're trying to date, because what are we doing? Especially in the church. If you're in the church and you're trying to date, that means you're ready to get married. All right, so you should have some money saved up, even if the stock market is crashing right now. But have something that you're doing that you can save and you can get some money. So back to what I was saying. If all else fail, and this is your 3rd year, Christmas is past, no proposal. Thanksgiving passed, no proposal. Easter, when everybody's together, when no proposal. Your anniversary, your date anniversary, the first date anniversary, whatever, your relationship anniversary passed, nothing. Valentine's Day passed, nothing. Your birthday, that's the key one. All right, just wait for your birthday, because maybe his birthday he wouldn't want to do it. Mother's Day, your birthday, no proposal whatsoever. All right, then go on a vacation. All right, you two need to be together. Even if you're a single mom, maybe find a way where it's just the two of you. All right, plan a vacation together. It doesn't have to be expensive. Plan a vacation. You go out together, spend 2 or 3 days, and see how the relationship goes. Now, throughout those 3 days, try to bring up stuff about the future. Try to bring up your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, so he can see what you're thinking. All right, what your mindset is, and see if he aligns with that. If he doesn't, then that's your cue. For me, I call that's my closure. That's your closure. You walk away. Now, if that is gearing towards something, then you can try to see what is holding him back, because sometimes it could be their parent. That is key, especially for men. If their mom is not on board, try to see, is that the issue? What is the issue? All right, try to see if it's money, how you can work it out. I told you, if he doesn't have money, he should not be out here. But there are a lot of men who gets nervous and worried that maybe I don't have enough. So you can lower your standards. I know some of you want the big rock. You can say, I don't care about any, I can just have a ring. It doesn't have to be a big rock. All right, if you wanted to do a big wedding, don't scare him with that. Some men get scared with that big wedding. For me, first of all, when I was getting married, my second wedding, I told him from the day he talked about marriage, I don't want a big wedding. First of all, I don't even have the kind of friends to do a big wedding. So we'll just go to the court, get a small thing, get our friends, a small group of friends together, do something small. All right. So you don't need a big wedding. No. Some things is even better in secret, because you have very demonic people out here these days. So do something in secret, or in private, not in secret, private. All right, because secret is bad. In private, but make sure you cover your bases. For those of you who have businesses, who have money, who have made a life for yourself, try to, like, we don't anticipate you breaking up or anything, but try to preserve your assets. You know, if you are going to have a joint account, make sure it doesn't cover some of your assets, but because down the line, who knows? For example, like me, I never thought I would be divorced by now. All right, so I had to file because he was letting people think something else about me that was not true. All right, and I had to put a stop to everything. Even his family thought that I married him either for papers or for money, and I had to correct that. Like, no. When I married your son, I already had my papers sorted out. I already had my money thing going. All right, I was on the verge of getting my master's degree. I always have my business, the business that most of you thought he was the owner. No, I am 100% owner of my business. So don't get it twisted. I loved him, loved with the ED. All right, and it wasn't for money, it wasn't for papers, because I had that sorted out. So don't be and so there were so many other things, and then obviously the domestic violence, that I can't continue in that kind of relationship. So nobody knows what will happen in the future, so make sure you cover your bases. You You just handle your business. Because when we were about to split, like, he was delaying, like he's not gonna sign because of this or that. I said, I don't want your money, I don't want nothing, just sign it. I have come up since I was 17 by myself, and even now, like, I don't even plan to stay in North Carolina, so I don't need a house, I don't need just sign and let me go, just let me go. I'll figure my life out. All right. So even with the kids, I was like, we've been doing this for years. Come on now, let's go. We can do it, So yeah, I miss North Carolina. I miss everything. But life is good. Life is good. Life will always be good as long as God is by my side. And the same God I had way back before I even met him is the same God that's taking care of me and my children. So just know that the God that you always served, he will take care of you. All right. So don't relax your standards when it comes to taking care of business. So even with the man, whatever the man is bringing to the table, you two contribute, but always have your own separate. All right. What you achieved before the marriage, because who knows, because the world is crazy now. And then if all else fail, all right, because I'm trying to round up now. If all else fail and he still doesn't give you the ring after 3 years, and you care about him, you do care, and you see that he probably cares too. Sometimes a man needs a little nudge. You need to just remind him of who you are. So this is not an ultimatum. Don't approach him. Don't yell. Don't just relax your access level. Like, don't give him the full energy you always did. It's detrimental. Sometimes you might think so, because you might say, oh, if I relax, he might probably think I don't like him anymore. No, what a man thinks is he's going to lose you. That's what he thinks. When you relax, he knows he's going to lose you. So if it's a man that truly cares, the first thing he will do is ask you, what's the problem? What's wrong? Yeah, that's the first thing. If he really cares, that's the first thing he will call. This time he will not even text. He will call. What is wrong? Why didn't you text me today? Why didn't you call me today? And don't be because some of us like to be like, oh, I'm busy. No, you tell him exactly the truth. Why? And yeah, you tell him, well, yes, I don't see any ring. I don't see you've never talked about our future. And don't say it with anger or attitude. Or no. Be as calm as possible. A man does not respond to emotions. That's something you need to know. Put that down on your journal. A man does not respond to emotions. So you start crying, you start yelling, you start a man don't respond to that. I told you I've had a lot of male friends. In fact, for a long period of time, I only had male friends. I started stopping those male friendships after I met my husband, my second husband, because he was very insecure about that. But I always had male friends at work, at school. And I know when you want to have a conversation with a man, you don't bring emotions, because when you bring emotions, he's confused, he's upset, he gets confused, he gets really many times when you come with emotions, he hardly hears you. It's very difficult for a man to hear you when you're yelling or when you're and that's something women don't know, and that's why you won't get the results you think you should get. All right, when you're crying, especially when you're crying, when a man sees a woman crying, he gets confused, he gets irritated, he get I have noticed that with my two kids. I have a boy and a girl. Now I don't do that in front of them, but sometimes when it used to get hard for me, and they will come and see me cry maybe I'm in the bedroom and I'm crying by myself, sometimes when I'm missing their dad or something, and my daughter would always be the one to hug me, because a woman understands feelings and emotions, and she's in tune with her femininity. So she will come and hug me, and she'll be like, oh mom, don't cry or something. My son, he will be confused. He will be acting like, and for a long time he would not even know how to approach me. He would not even know if he should hug me, or that's a man usually get confused, like when you cry and you become too emotional, and you become, except obviously they will hug you eventually when they get over themselves or something. But like if like they're not used to that, they don't respond much to that. So if you are approaching a guy, especially with that kind of conversation, you have to be, first of all, frank, to the point, no beating around the bush, no emotions. Do a logical conversation, calm, calculated, and let him know this is where we at. Like, I have put in so much into this, all right? And also write down what you're about to say. Write it down. Put your points. If you need to go get your paper, go get the paper, all right? Put your points, salient points that you would use as arguments, and say, hey, I have been nothing but loyal. I have been nothing but, put all the things, and say, but I've noticed that it's either you don't like me, or you're not ready for marriage, and I'm ready to move on. I'm 40 years old. I'm getting old. Let him know that I want to have a family. I want to have kids. Tell him. Don't be beating around the bush and say, oh, I was not feeling too well. And no, don't lie to a man. No, don't. Just tell him, because you want him to trust you. So tell him your true desire, how you truly feel, but not with yelling, because first of all, when you yell, you piss him off. He's gonna get angry. He will yell, or he will throw hands, or he will just walk away, or he will just be mad. And that's it. He will feel disrespected, so he will walk away. So many times I've dealt with a lot of men. That's how you do. You don't yell, you don't scream, because when you do that, he's gonna walk away. It's gonna defeat the whole purpose that you're trying to talk to him about. Okay, so be calm, be logical, be rational. Talk to him like you want to talk to a workmate. All right, and let him know you mean business. Don't be smiling. This is a serious thing, because you're serious about it. All right, so be serious. This is what I tell when I do counseling. That's why I said, be serious about it. Let him see your eyes. In fact, most of the time, you don't want to talk this over the phone. You want to talk in person. You want him to look at your eyes and let him see the seriousness with which you're talking, because he will see that you're ready to kick rocks. You're ready to end this relationship like right now. And he needs to get himself together. And many times when you put that to a man in that way, he's ready. He gets ready. Like even if he was like, scraping, dragging his feet and whatever, when he sees, this woman means business. This woman is ready to leave, and I can't afford to lose her. I love her. That it settles in his mind, and like, I need to do something. All right, and then you see his attitude would change. You will see. Now, if he doesn't care, even after that conversation, then trust me, that's not the one for you. Sorry to say that, but that's not the one for you. All right, and you don't have to change yourself for any man. Okay, because you were that same person when he approached you. That's why you don't want to be more than 3 years after you met this guy. So It's nothing to do with your weight. Don't think that if you change your weight, if you go to the gym, no. He saw you like that when he approached you. That means he likes what he sees. All right, if you want to go to the gym, that's for you, that's just for you. All right, and for for you to feel better about yourself. But don't try to go say, oh, it's because I'm fat, I need to go to the gym, I need to starve myself, I don't need to eat so that this man will marry me. No, don't do that to yourself, because that's how you get resentment against this guy, because then you've done all of this sacrifice and he still would not marry you. Don't change nothing. He met you just the way you were, and he fell in love with you, and he approached you, he told you he wants you. That's why I say let him choose you. So if he is not willing to marry you, then there's something wrong elsewhere, and you don't have to take that responsibility on yourself. Don't. Be ready to walk away. Okay, if it's your mom, if it's your sister, if it's your family, your friends that you making you drag your feet, then I'm probably not the one for you. And be very serious about it. Be very honest. Look at him in his eyes, let him see in your eyes, and then if he's the guy for you and he loves you, you will see it in his attitude. You will see a change. And in the next 3 months, give him like 3 more months after that conversation, 6 months to be to be very lenient. Say 1 year after that and see what he does. Many times a man will fold. He will give you that ring. But if he's still giving you the ring, that relationship is not yours. You gotta go. And if you relax and he doesn't notice, is too busy to notice, or he doesn't even ask you, like, is something wrong, that relationship is not for you. Just move on, find somebody else, or just relax. God will bring the one for you. Okay, so for now, that's all I'm going to say. I'll probably write a little more about bagging the ring, or just some of my experiences during my time dating or meeting with guys. But as I told you, I don't usually like to date. I don't think most of what I do is I get to know you, and if I like you, we start a serious relationship. I'm a serious relationship kind of girl. Like, if I'm in a relationship, I consider you a serious relationship, and we start off with that. And that's why I say, if you're not believers, you will not get me. You will not get what I'm saying right now, because many believers, and again, with my level of faith. All right, now if I'm just maybe having fun during my rebellious phase, obviously I wasn't thinking about that. I was in a different space. But when I'm in a relationship, I'm a relationship kind of woman. I would want a one-on-one, just me and you, exclusive. We don't have other girl, dating nobody else. I'm not dating anybody else, and that usually works for me. It has. I told you I've gotten the ring 5 times. So if you are that kind of person, then it will work. If it's not like that, many times, if you started it off as a fling or as a one-night stand, don't feel offended if you don't get the ring, because it's hard for a man to switch his thinking process. Like, if he had always seen you as the baddie that he was just hanging out with, the one he just got from the club and just needed to knock, he just needed to crash, or what do the kids call it now, bang or whatever, I don't know. If he just wanted to have sex and that was it, it's hard for a man to like turn it in his mind to see you now as a wife. It's many times it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. And that's why even when you're going on the date, or even when you're hanging out, be your dress code also should be a little modest, even though obviously you need to show your assets, but be a little modest, because that's how the guy will take you from day one. That's how he's going to take you. That's how he's going to see you. And so if you're a little, he's going to see you as his wife. And if you're not modest, many times he would just see you as someone he can hang out with, or someone that will be a trophy wife that he can walk around with, and he will not be too into you, you know. For now, here's where we will end the season. I hope you've had fun with me this third season. The fourth season, we will have it in summer, and because I come every season, I'm not too sure, but I hope to do it in summer. Those of you that we talk, we'll discuss whether we'll do it in summer or just wait for for the fall. But I hope I can do one in summer. And that I want to touch on something else that is a hot topic, which is bullies, church bullies, and church abuse. It's something also that I have had a lot of thoughts about that I want to handle. But I don't know, because it's the summer, probably we'll shelve that for the fall, because that's a hard thing to talk about. The summer, I might find something sweet to talk about. Maybe my love life. I'll talk about my love life. Some of you want to know the tea. I've shared a lot about my love life already, but you know, some people might want to know the tea, especially about the one that I don't like to talk about. I might talk about him just a little bit, you know, but he and I shared something very special. He will always hold a special place in my heart. And so maybe I'll talk about him, or I'll talk about my first husband, because with my second husband, there's not much that you don't already know. I pretty much have said a lot about our relationship. Maybe I'll talk about the few days before the storm started hitting, because he was like the perfect gentleman then. And then obviously the other two relationships that I had previously, maybe, I don't know if I would want to talk about them, but just some lessons I learned during my love life. So maybe I'll do that in the summer, because that's a soft topic, and then I'll do the hard one in the fall, when I'll talk about the church bullies and church abuse, because it's still going on and it's not good. We should not have that in the church at all. And so I might talk about that maybe later. So I love you all. It's been a pleasure having you all. Stick around and I'll talk to you guys. I have a card I want to send out to some of you who have rocked with me throughout this season. And I'll talk to you all later. I love you all. Have a good one. Love you. Bye. Bye-bye.